The air hung heavy with the scent of jasmine and the distant call of crickets as Lila sat on the worn steps of her house. Her dark eyes, usually shimmering with mirth, were clouded with a distant, unsettling gleam. The full moon cast an ethereal glow on her face, emphasizing the sharp angles of her jaw and the curve of her lips. Despite the picturesque setting, a chill wind snaked through the narrow streets of the village, carrying with it the whispers of forgotten secrets and long-buried fears. Lila had always reveled in the attention, the awe, and admiration in the eyes of the young men who came to her village seeking more than just a glimpse of its famed beauty. But now a stranger had come, a man whose gaze seemed to penetrate the layers of her carefully constructed facade. His name was Alex, a successful architect from Bangkok. He had come to the village in search of tranquility, unaware that he was walking into a hunter's lair. Lila had a way with words, a silver tongue that could coax confessions and desires out of even the most guarded hearts. And she had used this gift to manipulate countless young men, taking their money, their trust, and sometimes even their lives. As the weeks passed, Alex found himself drawn deeper into Lila's web. He dismissed the warnings of the locals, the subtle glances and hushed conversations, believing them to be nothing more than superstitious tales. To him, Lila was a breath of fresh air, a distraction from the clamor of city life. But beneath the surface of their idyllic romance, a sinister undercurrent was forming. One evening, as fireflies winked in the gathering darkness, Lila led Alex through a maze of narrow streets to a clearing bathed in the silver glow of the moon. In the center stood an ancient tree, its gnarled branches reaching towards the sky like skeletal fingers. Around its trunk were scattered offerings of flowers and trinkets. This was the heart of her power, the place where she conducted her dark rituals. "What is this place?" Alex asked, his voice echoing in the stillness. Lila turned, a ghost of a smile playing on her lips. "This," she whispered, her voice like the rustling of dry leaves, "is where our love story began." Alex frowned, a sense of foreboding settling in his gut. He couldn't shake off the feeling that he was being led to a precipice, that the ground beneath his feet was giving way. The forest pressed close around them, its shadows deepening with each step he took. "Lila," he said, his voice tight with apprehension, "I need to tell you something." She stopped, her back still to him. "Is everything all right?" she asked without turning around. He hesitated, then took a step closer. "I haven't been honest with you," he confessed, his eyes searching her face for a reaction. Lila turned, her eyes flashing with a sudden, startling intensity. "Oh," she purred, taking a step toward him. "And what is it you haven't told me?" Alex swallowed, his throat suddenly dry. "I didn't come here by accident," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "I was sent." Lila's eyes widened slightly, but she quickly recovered, her composure returning like a shield. "Sent," she echoed, a hint of amusement in her voice. "By whom?" "It doesn't matter," he replied, stepping back. "What matters is why are you doing this, Lila? Why have you been taking advantage of these men?" A flicker of pain crossed her face, quickly replaced by a mask of indifference. "What do you know of my reasons?" she snapped, her voice sharp as shards of glass. "I know that you're hurting," he said softly, taking another step forward. "And I want to help you." Lila recoiled as if he had struck her, her eyes blazing with anger and betrayal. "Help me!" she spat, the word dripping with scorn. "You would help me? How can you possibly think?" "I'm sorry," Alex interrupted, raising his hands in defense. "I don't mean to intrude, but I care about you, Lila. I really do. And I don't want to see you hurt anymore." Her shoulders shook with silent sobs, her gaze fixed on the ground. For a moment, Alex saw not the manipulative seductress, but a scared, vulnerable girl, a victim of her own past. "Get away from me," she whispered, her voice breaking. He hesitated, torn between his desire to help and the instinct to flee. "Ow!" But something in her voice, a note of desperation, held him there. "Why did you come here, Alex?" Lila asked, her voice barely audible. He sighed, knowing that he couldn't run from this, that he had to face the darkness that lurked in her eyes. "To find peace," he replied quietly, "and maybe to help you find yours." Our head snapped up, her eyes blazing with renewed intensity. "Peace," she echoed, the word laced with bitterness. "You came here for peace, and you've disrupted everything. Now, leave me alone." But Alex didn't move. He stood his ground, meeting her gaze with unwavering determination. He wasn't going to let her push him away, not when he was so close to unraveling the threads of her tormented soul. Their eyes locked, and in that moment, the veil between their worlds thinned. Alex saw the echoes of a shattered past in her eyes, the remnants of a girl who had loved and lost, who had been betrayed and hardened. "Lila," he whispered, his voice filled with empathy, "let me help you." She shook her head, her eyes clouding with unshed tears. "No," she breathed, "it's too late." As the night deepened, Alex stayed, refusing to give up on her. He knew that beneath the layers of deceit and manipulation, there was a flicker of humanity, a spark of goodness that could be rekindled. The moon climbed higher in the sky, casting long, eerie shadows, as Alex sat by the window, watching the rain lash against the glass. He had been waiting for hours, his hopes dwindling with each passing moment. Suddenly, the door creaked open, and Lila appeared, her hair plastered to her face with rain, her eyes dark and haunted. "Alex," she whispered, her voice hoarse with emotion, "we need to talk." He turned, his face lighting up with relief. "Lila," he said softly, rising to his feet, I was worried about you." She took a hesitant step forward, then sank into the chair opposite him. "I'm sorry," she began, her voice shaking, "for everything I've done. I never meant for any of this to happen." Alex nodded, understanding dawning on him. "It's all right, Lila," he said gently. "We all make mistakes. But you have to admit you have a problem. You can't keep hurting people, taking their money, and then throwing them away." "I know," she whispered, tears glistening in her eyes. "I can't remember how it started. It was always like this. I never meant to hurt anyone." "And stop," Alex said firmly. "Can't keep living like this, Lila. It's not healthy for you or anyone else." She looked up, her eyes pleading. "I want to, but I don't know how." "Let me help you," he offered, reaching out a hand. "I'll stay with you. We'll work through this together." Lila reached out, her fingers brushing against his. For a moment, the weight of the world seemed to lift from her shoulders. But as quickly as it came, the flicker of hope faded, replaced by the familiar hollowness. "I can't," she whispered, pulling away. "I'm not worth saving, Alex. Just look at me. Do I look like someone who deserves your kindness? I'm a monster." He shook his head, his gaze unwavering. "No, you're not. You may feel like a monster, but you're not. There's good in you, Lila, and I believe you can change." Her eyes widened. "You really think that?" "I know that," he corrected. "All you have to do is let me help you." For a moment she was silent, lost in her thoughts. Then slowly, hesitantly, she reached out and took his hand. "Thank you, Alex," she whispered. He squeezed her hand, his eyes shining with determination. "We'll get through this, Lila," he promised. "I won't let go." As the first rays of sunlight touched the horizon, casting a golden glow over the village, Lila woke with a start. Beside her, Alex slept peacefully, his face relaxed, his breathing even. She watched him for a moment, her heart aching with a mix of gratitude and guilt. In that instant, she knew that Alex was right. She couldn't keep living a life of deceit and manipulation. She deserved happiness, but so did the people she had hurt. With newfound resolve, Lila slipped out of bed and began making plans. She would repay the money she had stolen, apologize to those she had wronged, and try to make amends. It wouldn't be easy, but with Alex by her side, she knew she could do it. Suddenly a knock on the door startled her. She glanced at Alex, still sleeping soundly, and tiptoed to the door. Opening it cautiously, she found a woman standing there, her face etched with worry. "Lila," the woman exclaimed, rushing inside. "Have you seen Alex? He hasn't come home last night and I'm worried sick." Lila's heart skipped a beat. She hadn't considered that Alex might have left during the night. "I'm sorry," she stammered, "but I haven't seen him this morning. He was here last night, but he must have left quietly." The woman's eyes widened with alarm. But why, and where could he have gone? Before Lila could reply, a scream pierced the air. The woman gasped and rushed to the window. "Oh my God," she cried. "Look!" Lila joined her at the window and saw a shocking sight. In the clearing by the ancient tree, Alex's car was overturned, its windows shattered, and nearby, strewn across the ground, was a single shoe.